Hello, I'm Donna Lowry, host of Lawmakers on Georgia Public Broadcasting. You are watching the forum for Sandy Springs City Council District 1, organized by Rough Draft Atlanta. I am joined by Sarah Callis, a politics reporter at Georgia Public Broadcasting, and Bob Pepelis, who reports on Sandy Springs for Rough Draft. This is not a debate, but an opportunity for the candidates to introduce themselves to the District 1 voters and share where they stand on the issues. We will get started with each candidate taking 30 seconds to introduce themselves, and you will see the timer on the screen letting you know how much time you have remaining. Lori Connor is not here. She may come in at some point and I'll have her introduce herself. So we will start with John Paulson. Will you introduce yourself, please? You have 30 seconds.
Certainly. Good morning. My name is John Paulson. I'm originally from Chicago. I moved to Atlanta in '86, married, 2 kids, 4 grandkids. I'm an engineer by training, which comes in handy sometimes at City Council. And I'm a Vietnam combat veteran. And I've been involved since the early 90s when EVA was first starting this grand idea of becoming a city.
Well, thank you very much. Now we'll go to our journalist panel, who will each ask 2 questions that you will answer, since you're the only one right now, John. You will have 60 seconds to respond to each question, and the timer will let you know how much time you have remaining. And Sarah, you get the first question.
Thank you, Donna. So last month, a judge ordered a short-term rental property house to cease operations. Do you support changes to the city's short-term rental laws to reduce or ban party houses in Sandy Springs?
The short answer is yes, I do. This house was actually a house in my district, and I've been getting complaints from the neighbors for months. The house was pretty well organized in that the owner was in one state, the property manager was in another state. We would cite them and nobody would show up at court. So it got out of control. So we are doing some things I actually think we should review doing more to control these, because when they become party houses, they're just terrible nuisances and an intrusion into otherwise nice neighborhoods. So hopefully we can further control them. You know, party house is not the same as you have a big wedding at your house. This is somebody that has a commercial interest in having a party at this particular location, and they sell tickets. Sometimes it gets pretty extravagant. So we can't be having that in our neighborhood. We need to control that as best we can. I cannot see a timer, so I'm assuming I'm on time.
Thank you. Actually, you are perfect. Okay. Bob, it's your turn to ask a question.
What more can Sandy Springs do to spur the redevelopment of its underperforming shopping centers?
Good morning, Bob. Good question. Several years ago, the city actually commissioned a shopping center designer, a design team, and they looked at 4 shopping centers at the north end, and they came back with recommendations about ways to develop it that had a mixed use feel to it. Some apartments, some for sale housing, some retail, commercial. And we presented this to the 4 shopping center owners, and one of them almost executed it. So we're essentially telling them, if you build something like this, we'll support it. Unfortunately, the interest rates got to the point where the project didn't work, but I'm hoping that model of helping owners see what they can do and essentially telling them, if you build something like this that's been vetted within the city, the odds of you getting approved are pretty high. I like to continue doing that in these areas that we want to revitalize it, because they're just old shopping centers.
Thank you very much. We now go back to Sarah Callis for her second question.
Sandy Springs has been identified as one of the cities with the fastest growing home sale prices in Georgia. What goals do you have for increasing housing affordability in the city?
Great question. We are the victims of our own success because of Sandy Springs being 20 years. Now it's 20 years this December. We've got a 20-year anniversary celebration this week. But I think the city's done a good job of public safety as well as smart spending on infrastructure and things of that nature. As a result, people want to move here. And unfortunately, supply and demand drives this, and we have a supply shortage, especially of middle class housing or middle income housing. What's happening now is the middle income houses are being bought by the very wealthy. They're knocking them down, building mega mansions. So there's not a whole lot we can do other than make sure people are building correctly. And if we can identify an area where maybe redevelopment makes sense, we could encourage it. But fundamentally, the retail market is what the retail market is, and the demands for housing in Sandy Springs, because it's a place people want to live, it's just the facts of life these days. It makes it hard for us to change that dynamic.
Thank you. Bob, you get the final question for John Paulson.
Okay. How can the Roswell Road North End Boulevard project help your district?
Thank you, Bob. So the Roswell Road North End project has got a couple of components to it. One is Roswell Road is a DOT highway. So anything we do along Roswell Road, we got to get Georgia DOT to approve. And they have. We've actually got a boulevard concept that they've approved that goes up from, I think it starts at Northridge, goes all the way to the river. And then that's going to be more of less of a speeding looking zone. It's going to have a center median. It's going to have some plantings, nice wide sidewalks, encourage less speed and more walkability. And then DOT has actually got an intersection improvement project at the north end where you come out on Roberts Drive, which anybody that's come out on Roberts Drive at 5 o'clock and trying to go south on Roswell Road, you just can't do it. They're reworking that whole intersection so that there'll be a light at the intersection where the tavern is now, and that'll help to control that traffic. But I think making Roswell Road look more like a boulevard as opposed to now it just looks like a highway.
Right.
I think that'll help.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Well, that's all the time we have allotted
That's
for
it.
questions. Well, it's not totally over. Now each candidate, and you are the candidate here, will now have 60 seconds for a closing statement.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right, 60 seconds. So I've been on the council for 16 years, which is a long time. I get it. In that time, I think we've done some good things. One of the things people don't actually realize is most of my job is explaining to people how the city works. And so you have somebody that has a complaint about something, being able to navigate the city is one of the key functions that the city council does. So I do that, and then I try to be smart about when we make big decisions. We've got a AAA bond rating, both Standard & Poor and Moody's, so we're managing our money well. We've got good intersection improvement projects, and I want to bring the engineering skills that I've honed over a long time, let's put it that way, to bear to try to make the city even better. And my experience is good, and I hope to continue doing that.
Thank you very much.
That work?
That's all the time we have, and I want to thank you and the panel for participating, and Rough Draft Atlanta for organizing this forum. Early voting begins Tuesday, October 14th, and election day is November 4th. I'm Donna Lowry. Thanks for tuning in.